Hello aspirants, welcome back to our channel FoodTech Online. Hope you all are doing good. So this video is the continuation of ICAR-PG Food Science and Technology previous year question paper. So we will be discussing here more important questions, exam patterns and key topics which are being asked in the ICAR-PG exam. This will help you understand the level of questions and you can prepare effectively. So let us begin. Next question, which of the following is most sweet? So sweetness is compared using relative sweetness. So for sucrose, it is 1. Now maltose, it is around 0.3 to 0.5. Fructose, it is 1.2 to 1.8. And sodium cyclamate, it is 30 to 50 times sweeter. So sodium cyclamate is the sweetest among all over here. Natural sugars, they are moderately sweet, but artificial sweeteners, they are much higher in the intensity, sweetness intensities. So correct option is C. Next, subjecting fats to high temperature in the presence of oxygen such that fats deterioration is called as. So this question specifies the high temperature, it specifies presence of oxygen and deterioration of fats. Means clearly this is saying about oxidative rancidity, that is auto-oxidation. So in auto-oxidation what happens? Actually it is a free radical reaction where fats it reacts with oxygen and it is associated with heat, lights and metals. So it leads to off odors or rancidity, whereas hydrolytic rancidity, so it is due to water and enzyme. Thermal decomposition, it's heat only. And lipolysis, it's a breakdown of fat into fatty acids. So it's enzyme driven basically. So correct option is B, that is auto-oxidation. Next question 103. The class of trans fat present in meat is, so it is vaccinic acid. So vaccinic acid is a natural occurring trans fat which is found in meat, in dairy products, especially in the ruminant fats like cows, sheep. So it has a trans monounsaturated fatty acids, that is trans 11 octadeconoic acid. Whereas oleic acid, so it is a cis fatty acid. And eposa pentanoic acid, so it's a omega-3 fatty acid. And arachidonic acid, it is a omega-6 fatty acid. Whereas valsenic acid, it's a trans. So correct option is option number B, that is vaccinic acid. Next question, which of the following is not a step in pre-press solvent extraction? So in pre-press solvent extraction, it involves various steps. So first one is seed preparation, means cleaning, dehulling, removing unwanted materials from it. Then cooking and conditioning process. Next will be flaking process. Then pre-pressing, that is pressing the flakes, and solvent extraction. But this seed whipping is not a recognized process in the oil extraction process technology. So the correct option is option number D. So pre-press plus solvent extraction, it is a partial oil removal by the mechanical process. And remaining oil, it has been removed by the solvent, that is hexane. Next question 105. The enzyme which is responsible for enzymatic browning in cut fruit is. So enzymatic browning in cut fruits like say apple, banana, it occurs due to polyphenol oxidase, PPO. So during the cutting process, what happens? It will damage the cells. Now this polyphenol oxidase, it will come in contact with this polyphenolic compounds plus oxygen. So oxidation will take place. Now formation of brown pigment, that is melanins. Whereas catalase, so it is the breakdown of hydrogen peroxide. It breaks the hydrogen peroxides. Peroxidase, it is involved in oxidations but not in the browning enzymes. And lipase, it acts on the fat. So correct option over here is option number C, that is polyphenol oxidase. Next question 106 dash are osmophilic yeasts. So osmophilic yeasts are those that can grow in high sugar concentration. So over here are osmophilic, well-known osmophilic yeasts are Saccharomyces roxy and Saccharomyces melis. That is option number D is our correct option. Whereas Saccharomyces lactis, it is a dairy fermentation. It's basically used in dairy fermentation process. So correct option over here is option number D. Next question 107. Pigmented propionibacterium. It causes a color defects in. So it is a common bacterium that is associated with cheese, especially the Swiss type cheese. So some pigmented strains of this propionibacterium, it can produce red, brown or pink discolorations. So this can lead to undesirable color defects in the cheese. So basically what happens, they will produce a propionic acid and with the carbon dioxide, which is responsible for the eyes, that is holes in the Swiss cheese. And some abnormal strains will be there which will cause this pigmented defects. Whereas in meats, usually it is affected by Pseudomonas or Lactobacillus. In eggs, it is basically the Pseudomonas, Salmonella species. In juices, some molds or yeasts, they dominate in this. So over here, correct option is option B, that is cheese. Next question, INS number of MSG is, MSG stands for monosodium glutamate. So it is widely used as a flavor enhancer. So INS means International Numbering System. So it has been given a number of 621. So it's usually used to identify food additives globally, this INS. 620 is for glutamic acid. 621 is for monosodium glutamate. 622 to 625, it is for other glutamate salts. So correct option is option number B, that is 621. Next question, dash is the term which is used to label foods which is treated with low level of ionizing radiation. So for foods which is treated with low levels of ionizing radiation, it is termed as radiation pasteurized. So this process is also known as radurization or mild irradiation to extend the shelf life. So correct option is option B. Whereas there are different terms of this irradiation, that is radurization, radicidation, and radapterization. Radurization means a low dose, like pasteurization type. Radicidation dose means it's medium type, like it will kill the pathogens. And radapterization is for high dose, like commercial sterilization process. So next question, swelling of moist macaroni is caused due to the presence of. So swelling of moist macaroni, it is a type of spoilage defect which is caused by the gas production. So the microorganism which is responsible is Enterobacter cloacem. That is option number D. So it ferments the carbohydrate and it will produce a gas which will lead to swelling of the packaged macaroni or bulging of the containers. Whereas E. coli, so it is not related with macaroni swelling. Lactococcus cremosus, so it is involved in dairy fermentation. Staphylococcus aureus, so it causes food poisonings, not swelling defects. So the correct option is D. Next question, alimentary toxic alopecia is mycotoxicosis which is caused by dash toxic metabolites. So this alimentarious toxic alopecia, that is ATA, it is a serious mycotoxicosis which is caused by the toxins produced by Fusarium species. And the key toxins metabolites which are involved are this fusariogenin and epicladosporic acid. So our correct option is option A. So basically they will inhibit the bone marrow function. They can lead to alopecia, that is reduction in the WBCs, white blood cells. They can cause the hemorrhages, necrosis. Whereas next option, that is luteoskirin and cyclofluorotin. So they are mainly associated with penicilliums. And stigmatocystin and penicillic acids. So these are produced by Aspergillus and penicilliums. DON and cyclopyrazonic acids. So it's actually a vomitoxins in the form of Fusarium species. So over here, correct option should be A, that is fusariogenin and epicladosporic acid. Next question, participatory guarantee scheme, that is PGS, for certification of organic is implemented by Central Ministry of. So the participatory guarantee system for organic certification in India, it is implemented by Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. That is option number C. Basically, it is operated under the National Center of Organic Farming, that is NCOF. And this PGS, it is actually a locally focused quality assurance system which is based on the peer reviews and the trusts. So they are designed mainly for small marginal farmers. Whereas health, so it's not responsible for the organic certification, commerce and industry. So it handles basically export certifications like NPOPs, and food processings, like they will deal with processings, not the certification systems. So PGS, it is an agriculture ministry and this NPOPs are the commerce ministry. So over here our correct answer should be option number C, that is agriculture and farmers welfare. Next question. In brine pickles during the curing process, the presence of Aerobacter is characterized by the production of. So during brine pickle fermentation, the presence of the Aerobacter, that is Enterobacter groups, it leads to gas production, specifically the carbon dioxide, hydrogen. So, why this happens? Basically, this Aerobacter species are the gas forming bacteria. So, when they ferment the sugars and it produces acids, carbon dioxides, and hydrogen gases. So, this can cause the blotter defects like hollow in the pickles or some swellings in the pickles. Whereas hydrogens only it is incomplete, like carbon dioxide is only produced. Carbon dioxide only means it's again incomplete, and sulfur dioxide, so it is not produced in the fermentation process. So correct option is, that is Aerobacter, Enterobacter. So carbon dioxide plus hydrogen production will be there. That means a blotter defect in the pickles. So correct is C. Next question, in the mashing process, mashing means brewing process. The mash is held at what degree Celsius for complete dextrinization? So in the mashing process, this dextrinization is carried out mainly, we know, by alpha amylase. So this enzyme, it works best at 70 to 75 degrees Celsius. For 50 to 55 degrees Celsius, it is for protein breakdown. 60 to 65 degrees Celsius is for beta amylase activity. Or we can say maltose formation. 70 to 75 is for alpha amylase, that is dextrinization. And 80 to 85% is for enzyme inactivation. So correct option is C, that is 70 to 75 degrees Celsius. Next question, we have to match list 1 with list 2. So antibiotics and its microorganisms. So first one, that is bacitracin. So bacitracin is with Bacillus subtilis. Colicin, so it is E. coli, that is bacteriocin. Gramicidin, it's Bacillus brevis, and polymyxins, these are Bacillus polymyxa. So our correct option over here is option number B, that is A3, B4, D2 and D1. Next question, the citric acid production in the shallow tank method at the standardized condition is completed in how many days? So in the shallow tank, that is surface fermentation method of for the citric acid production using this Aspergillus niger, the fermentation process typically takes 7 to 10 days. So what happens? The surface, that is the shallow tank fermentation, it is actually slower than the submerged fermentation, and it requires more time due to the limited oxygen transfer. Now it produces citric acids on the surface layer. Whereas in the submerged fermentation, which is a modern method, it is faster with 3 to 5 days. So over here, correct option should be option number C, that is 7 to 10 days. Next, chapter of FSSA 2006 deals with offences and penalties. So we have to tell which chapter deals with offences and penalties. So chapter 9 basically it deals with offences and penalties. Chapter 7 it deals with enforcement of the act. Chapter 9 is offences and penalties. Chapter 10 is for adjudications, appeal tributes. Appellate tribunals. And chapter 11, it's for finance, accounts, audits. So correct option is option number B. Dash was developed to address a specific PRP of food safety which is required for food manufacturers. So PS 220 2007 was developed to define a prerequisite programs, that is PRPs, specifically for the food manufacturers. It provides the detailed requirements like hygiene practices, facility designs, cleaning sanitations, pest controls, personal hygienes. So this PS 220 later it became the foundation for the IS 22002, one which is now widely used as a food safety management systems like ISO 22000s. So first this 220 2007 it was PRP for the food manufacturing. Uh, then later uh, it became the foundation for ISO. So over here correct option is B, that is PS 220 2007. Next, as per Environmental Protection Act 1986, the chairman of Genetic Engineering Approval Committee is, so under the Environmental Protection Act of 1986 and related rules of this genetic engineering at 1989, the Genetic Engineering Approval Committee, that is GEAC, is constituted under the Ministry of Environment. That means the chairman of this GEAC is additional secretary, Department of Environment, Forest and Wildlife. Now it is MOEFCC. So over here, our correct option is option A. So this GEAC is for the environmental ministry body. So the chairperson logically comes from this environment or forest department. Next question, the sewage is treated by aerobic biological process in which treatment? So the sewage treatment, basically it occurs in stages. First is preliminary treatment, where removal of large debris like screens or grid chambers are there, so that it will remove some cardboards, wrappers. Next, primary treatment, so in the sedimentations of suspended solids, like physical process itself. Next, secondary treatment. So it is aerobic biological process where microorganisms they'll break down organic matter using oxygen. For example, activated sludge process, trickling filters. So correct option should be option number C, that is secondary treatment will be our correct option. With this, we have completed ICAR-PG previous year question paper of 2025. Hope you liked the session. Till then, thank you and enjoy learning.